Hi guys, it's Dr. Kendra Pope, your go-to integrative veterinary oncologist. Today I want to talk to you about cancer rates in dogs. Did you know that the cancer incidence in dogs, newly diagnosed cases, is now 5 times that of people? Do you believe that? Have you seen that yourself in your pets or your friends' animals? Why is this happening? What is going on? And where can we get more information to try to figure out what's happening so that we can change it? What we normally say is that the cancer rate in dogs is in their lifetime, 1 in 3 will develop cancer. And the same for cats. 1 in 3 cats will also develop cancer. But that number increases to 1 in 2, 50% of dogs over the age of 10. Has that been your experience with your own pets or any other animals that you've known? Now, where does this 5 times increase come from? Let me tell you a little bit more about that. So on the human side, cancer is a reportable disease. What that means is that anytime that there's a cancer diagnosis, that disease is reported to larger medical databases. But in animals, we don't do that. It's not currently reportable. So back in 2021, there was a large survey done of 35,000 dogs' medical records to assess for all kinds of disease, including cancer. And what they were trying to do is figure out what the cancer rate is. Because it's not a reportable disease, we have very old medical records, very old statistics, and we were trying to get a more up-to-date, accurate reading of what was happening. Because up to this point, we've always assumed that cancer rates in animals, especially in our companion animals that live in our homes, are the same as they are in people and on the human side. And therefore, the treatments of animal cancer has always really closely followed that of people because we believe them to be very similar. Well, in this survey study, what they did is they found the number of animals that were newly diagnosed with cancer and compared that to the number that we see in humans year after year. And what they actually found is that it was 5 times the rate of people. Now, why is it so high? What could be causing that? The survey didn't give us any answers. They want to look further into it, but what can we do to try to figure out what's happening and what's driving that? One thing that we can do is we can look to the human literature to see what's going on the human side, what's happening with their cancer rates and their cancer incidences, and can we use any of that information to help us? Have you known a person who's been diagnosed with cancer? Has there been any increased rates in your circle of friends or your family that you've heard about? What we've actually found is that since 1990, the human rate of cancer has actually increased by 80% since 1990. And that the largest increase in cancer is actually in populations of people under 50. So very, very young people. They actually estimate that by 2050, there'll be 35 million people with cancer, which is up from 20 million in 2022. So what could be causing this? There's probably lots of theories that people have, lots of different reasons that they think that this could be happening related to their environments or otherwise. But what did the data show when we looked at these research projects? So what they actually found is something that they coined the birth cohort effect. And what that means is that every decade, every 10 years, that group of people are exposed to higher levels of toxins and insults and carcinogens, basically things that can cause cancer, in their environment younger and younger. And that younger exposure to those toxins, to those carcinogens, are driving that rate of cancer up. The other thing that they found in the study is that there were specific types of cancers that were more likely to be occurring in these people under 50. And the types of cancers were those of the gastrointestinal tract and hormonally driven cancers. So if we think about these two, when we think about what causes these, where might this hormone dysregulation, where might this upset to the GI tract come from? Well, we know that 80% of our immune system is in our gastrointestinal tract. We know that that's what houses our immune system. But what else do we know about our GI tract that has changed significantly since 1990? We know that there's been increased intake in processed food for everyone from both our animals as well as humans. We know that there has been the widespread use of the pesticide Roundup or glyphosate, which is now in many of our food, which actually some of you may not know was patented as an antibiotic. So not only does it work to basically prevent pesticides from growing on crops, it actually completely obliterates any microbes, including those healthy ones in your GI tract. We also know that there's been increased amounts of chemicals in our cleaning products, our home products, which also translates to our pet products and our grooming products. But then also from the hormone perspective, it's not always the estrogen and the testosterone we think about, but actually something called xenoestrogens. So these are the chemicals that behave similar to estrogen. The body recognizes them the same as estrogen in the body, but really where they're coming from are our plastics. And we know that plastics are widespread in all of our home cleaning products, in our pet food products, in all of the things that we use around the home. So these are some of the theories about why these younger populations of people are developing cancer at higher and higher rates, which can be very concerning and similar for our animals because they've always followed the pattern that's happened in humans. So now what do we do with all this information? So stay tuned as I dive deeper into what are carcinogens, where are they in our environments, how are our pets exposed to them, and what are the things that we can do about them to try to avoid and mitigate the exposures. See you guys next time.